Then we can all just like make really awkward
Weird.
faces,
Oh,
like we're
is
frozen.
that mirror behind us causing a weird glare for you guys?
Okay, we are live.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not sure if anyone's with us right now, but I'm going to welcome folks really quick. This is the third time we've done We Are Sojourn. And it's just a little thing we kind of concocted where we're like, we need some opportunities just to get to know some folks from Sojourn. And so let's try to use technology towards that end. The first time we did it, it was Women's Edition. Last week, it was the Jack and Gretchen Boyd edition. And this week, it's the Hanley edition.
Woohoo!
Carrie and Jill, or Jill and Carrie, whichever one you want to say.
Okay.
And so our goal, again, is just to get to know them. Maybe if you're watching live or if you're watching it later, maybe you know them, maybe you don't. Our goal tonight is that you would get to know them a little bit better. And that as you hear some of the ups and downs of their story, that you're encouraged as well. So I just got a text saying we're live. So good to go. Yeah, so first of all, my name is Ben. I am one of the pastors at Sojourn Church. I've been up here in Traverse City for around 10 years. Before that, I am originally from Indiana, so that Carrie and I have a connection there. I met my wife, Janet, in Ohio at college, and we have 3 kids. Isaac will be 12 in August. Micah will be 10 pretty soon in June. And then Claire just turned 8. It's crazy. So yeah, 3 kids. And then as I've thought about our relationship with Carrie and Jill, I think my first time spending any time with Carrie, I don't know if you remember this, but we were at Fuji Steakhouse.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting down and eating some good food and kind of like asking the basic question of like, what's your story? And kind of walking out of there a little shell-shocked, being like, dude, this guy's story, this is heavy and intense and awesome to hear him talk it through. And I was like, I just want to get to know that dude more. And as I think of you guys, for our family, it's one of those things we are always saying we wish we could spend more time with you guys, but life is busy. And so we've really enjoyed getting to know your family a little bit through the years that we've been part of the same church family. So why don't you guys, first of all, maybe this is hard to do, but just give out like a quick biographical sketch of who you are. Give us the names of your kids, maybe how long you've been married, how long you've been up in Traverse City, that sort of thing.
Well, I'm Jill, and I've been in Traverse area since I was 5 years old. So like 15 years.
I was going to guess around that.
Carrie and I have been married for 9 years this year. We were married on 11/11/11, so easy to remember. Now you all will never forget our anniversary. We have got 6 kids. Our oldest is 19. He's the second, Carrie David second. And then we have Sage, who is 8, Leland, who is 7, Forrest, who is 6, Eden, who is 4, Ivy May, who is 3. So
Yeah. Well, I've been in Traverse City since 96, 97, 96, 97. That time I moved up from Kokomo, east of West Lafayette, where you grew up, and we were only 40 minutes away from each other. Who knew? And yeah, I've got 6 kids, like she said. Carrie the second, we call him Buddy. He was from my first marriage right out of high school, and he's just a great fit. The kids love him. He's just such a sweetheart. And we've been married now 9 years, like she said. It's been an amazing 9 years, obviously ups and downs, and no marriage is perfect, but we find each other perfect with each other.
So how did you 2 meet then?
So my mom, brother, and I, we had a restaurant, a little tea shop, downtown Traverse City across from the State Theater. And Jill knew my brother from another location in town called Jacob's Well. And they had connected at some point and he invited her to the restaurant. Well, the first time she came in, I literally was like, love at first sight. I told everybody there that I was going to marry this girl. I didn't even know her yet. And that was in like 2007, early 2007. So like February, I think we opened that year, March, I can't remember. And then she came in pretty close after we opened. And then I never pursued her. Like I didn't like chase her down or like ask for a number. I just flirted with her every time she came in. And then one time, and so that's how we met. But how we kind of got to marriage is we were both volunteering at the Opera House at a Martin Sexton concert. We're standing at the back of the auditorium there against the doors. We both loved to dance, and our job was to tell people they couldn't dance. It was horrible, but we were dancing. It was so funny. So we're like, it's intermission or something. I just look over to her and I say, what are your plans for November 11th, 2011? This is like 3 or 4 years down the road. And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, save the date because that's when you're going to marry me.
What?
And she said, you should ask me on a date first. But like the first time, well, there's a lot more to that story. There's like, that's just like one of the fun pieces, because the first time I like went to approach her outside of the tea shop, yeah, I got shot down. So, but I didn't approach her in a way like, I was just like kind of just being friendly, and she's like, not bad timing. So
Yeah.
Jeez.
So we went on a date.
Yeah,
well,
good.
hey,
Good.
the funny thing is she asked me on the first date.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. But
Yeah.
technically you asked her.
So I asked her to marry me first. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. But I get your point. I get your point. I think I'm going to change the view here. Okay. I don't know if that changed it for anyone else, but okay. Well, I'm always interested in how God brings people together, and you have a wide spectrum of. Sometimes you have a couple who are super similar in their personalities and in their giftings and in their interests, and God brings them together. Then you have other people who are just very different in how they grew up and how they're wired, those sorts of things. Where would you guys put yourself if that was a spectrum? Where would you put yourself on that spectrum?
We were both on how we were raised, like completely different, like night and day. She grew up in a very structured family, like a God-loving Christian family.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very broken, very toxic, just a really not a good situation. So when I found out, like when I first started dating Jill and I was around her family, I was like, oh my goodness, this is what a family is like. Like all of her, she has 9, well, there's 9 of them. She has 8 siblings, 2 amazing parents. And every time during like a Thanksgiving dinner, after they go around the table and just be thankful about something. And every single year I was like, I'm just thankful to be here with you guys, because I've never been in a structured family situation in all of my life that wasn't toxic, that wasn't fights, police, drugs, alcohol, like just all the craziness that was involved. So it was like that opposites attract situation. It was really intense, and that, not that like, and the fact that like I wasn't used to a family. She like has met some of my family, which is a crazy family. So,
But when it comes, so our backgrounds are very different, but us as individuals, we have a lot of overlap in like what we enjoy, what we would do for fun. A lot of overlap when it comes to those types of things. I think we have different personalities, but we mesh well together. And when it comes to the fun and what we enjoy, I think there's a lot of common.
Yeah, very much
there.
So. Our dating life when we were first dating, and it was just so easy, so fun. So
we have fun.
Everything we did, like, you want to do this? Yeah, I want to do that. You want to do this? Yeah, I want to do that. And like, so I was so like in love with this girl. I hate cold water. Like I hate cold water. And we were hanging out one day, and in March, the last day of March of like 2009, I think.
9 degrees.
It was like 10 o'clock at night. Come on, it wasn't 69 degrees. And so she talks me in to taking her down to the bay to jump in. She wanted me to go in. And I was like, no.
But you love the girl.
I
So
ended up going in.
yeah, you got to do it.
It was, that's like, if she's gonna do it, I was like, I can't let you just do it by yourself.
Oh, man.
That's when I knew he really loved me.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the moments. Okay. So then navigating differences in family of origin. Have you guys found that easy to do, hard to do? What have been the challenges to that?
It's a blend of both, I would say. It is unfortunate that I don't have a family. Like I have my mom and my stepdad and my brother and like some other like extended step family that is kind of like very like outer circle. So we don't have that like connection with my family like we do with hers. But that's okay. I mean, a lot of times you gravitate to one family or the other. You know, you're always going to their parents' house for whatever holiday, and it's just simple for me to be able to be with their family and enjoy them. And it was hard for them to accept, like, not accept me, but to kind of like, I was a rough dude at the time. I was like not in a place. I wasn't going to church at the time. I was a believer, but just I had a bad.
A little rough around the edges.
I was rough around the edges. I was upset at the church for some other things that happened back in when I was 20 years old or 19 years old. I was just really upset with. And I told Jill, I was like, I'm not going back into a brick and mortar church ever again. And then she talked me into going with her one Sunday. She didn't talk me into it. She's like, I'm going. You want to go? I said, yeah, I'll go. I'll try it out. And
You jump
so,
in the water, then you'll go to church with her, right?
Exactly.
yeah. And so I started going to a church. And then when I approached her parents, I asked her parents if, you know, for her hand in marriage, you know, respecting her, you know, her family. And her dad said no, and her mom said no. Definitely not. You need a lot of work to be done. And I said, well, I'm willing to put in the work, you know, and they're like, well, put in the work. So I did, and I changed my life around a lot, got put a lot of ducks in the right places.
Really got on track with his walk with the Lord.
Yeah,
Personally.
I was already on my way, but they just wanted, it was their daughter. They wanted her to be protected with, you know, her soul and her heart, and I appreciate that. So I wanted to protect it as well. Oh, you know, it was at the beginning, it was not easy, but now I'm their favorite.
Look at you now.
Don't tell anybody I said that.
All right.
There has been, I
Between
mean,
us.
especially early on, you know, just times when we would, especially surrounding conflict, we would approach conflict very differently. Just our experience with conflict resolution in our families was just so different. And the first couple of times we had like disagreements and conflict, it was, you know, it was hard. We just didn't understand exactly what that looked like for the other person. And I think especially me, probably more than him, but like that. So that was probably the first and really probably the only time where I feel like where we came from made things a little more complicated.
Gotcha.
But we were able to, you know, work through that. And obviously now we've been together a long time. We know how each other handles conflict better. And we've, you know, been able to work on making that healthy and, you know, look good. And at least, at the very least, have a better understanding of where each other is coming from, you know, and why we might react a certain way. So, but really, I think that's mainly the only one where it's I feel like been a negative at times that we've had to work through and turn it into a positive.
Well, so basically what she's had to deal with is like my struggles with like issues with my dad and that sort of thing, and just like conflict that I've had there that's not, I've tried to resolve and tried to get forgiveness there, and there's just there's just nothing coming back. So it's really hard to like get that relationship. But I have a lot of wounds from that. And I mean, Lou has his father passage, or what his when he does his you know, parental one, like especially the dad one, like that struck like home with me, with that like, and I know Jill is dealing with that with me, which is difficult because I know it. It's hard to fix it, you know.
Yep. It's one thing to know it. It's another thing to work through it. Yeah. For sure.
And we are, you know.
Yep.
And for the most part, those differences provide a lot of balance in our relationship. And, I really appreciate a lot of those differences. In a lot of ways with Carrie. So mostly it's not a challenge, but occasionally.
we both saw the world so differently growing up. So now while we're together, like I will see something one way, she'll see it the other, then we can kind of make a common ground on like what's really going on or what's the situation, or she'll talk me out of a bad idea or I'll talk her into a good idea, you know, like something like that. But coming from two different worlds brings a lot of perspective, which has been really good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And that's encouraging to hear that the ways in which you've had to work through it have actually, you guys have come out of that and you're able to see the world and navigate the world in a better way together because of the different ways God's formed you. That's pretty cool. Well, we've kind of tiptoed around that for a while, but this might be really, really hard to sum up. But I'm just interested in how you came to know Jesus, how you came to follow him. And so, Jill, you want to start?
Yeah, mine's easier, much less complex. I was raised by an awesome, godly family and have known the Lord my whole life. And my parents have always been really good at guiding me to a personal relationship with him. And even though that has grown significantly as I've been an adult, it started when I was really young. So I'm really grateful for that. And it's evolved, obviously, and changed, and I've changed and grown. But yeah, we've got an old love story there. So I was really given a gift in a family that taught me a lot and gave me a lot of tools and showed me a lot about Jesus.
And still does to this day.
Yeah, really grateful.
That's a gift. Awesome.
Yeah, it is a gift. Actually, her dad is just a treasure. He's just one of the best men I've ever met in my entire life. It's an honor to be his son-in-law for sure. My walk with Christ started about 4th, 5th grade-ish. My family, like they will say the things like, I'll pray for you, but I've never heard any of them pray. They don't pray at dinners, like never, ever, never a personal relationship, never like maybe some sort of like, I don't know, idea that there is a God, but never practicing or helping or guiding me in any way through it. And my dad was so toxic that like he would have never even went to a church a day in his life. He actually got fired from working at my grandma's church for being, well, they found him in a mop closet drunk, passed out. Like that's him. And my mom, she worked too much. My grandma and grandpa, they weren't never religious or like followed Christ or anything like that. But now my mom is with the walk with Christ, but that's a different story. But for me, it was with a friend. He invited me to Sunday school and church. So I started going with him. I really started to get momentum all the way into, junior high school. I wanted to go on this trip with the youth group, and I ended up skipping in 7th grade, skipping class, skipping the whole day to go a 2-hour drive to go on this trip with the youth group because I wanted to so bad. But my mom said no, because she just didn't have that. Like she didn't want to have me pursue that as much as I wanted to. And then into high school, I kind of like drifted away a little bit. We moved up here. I kind of lost my church friends from Indiana, and I kind of got around the rough crowd here and just I still believed, just didn't follow. And I went to a Decaloris, really got fired up, really got back into that, like, I'm ready to go. And I shared a lot of really personal information during that process, that Decaloris. Do you know what a Decaloris is, Ben?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of times where you share some very, very intimate, private information with people that you have built this trust with.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I got all fired up. At the end, you talk to the whole, there's like, hundreds of people in the auditorium when you show up, and you're like so shocked. You like instantly start getting emotional. Well, I shared, my story with them, some of it. Well, at the end, a couple of people approached me about doing a summer camp with some kids. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Well, a couple of the parents had heard about some of my private conversation in the Decaloris and said, no, we won't let them do it. And so that really burnt me hard because I was sharing something that was in the past of mine that happened to me, not that I did. And it just didn't settle right with me. And I just said, I'm never going to do this again. I'd like really had my heart set with these people. I got my heart was broke big time, and so was my spirit. And so I just said, I'm not doing it again. And I went through my 20s, roaring through my 20s, and just I still knew, I still knew that I had that for Christ. I believed in him. When I get to a hard spot, I would pray and just know that like he was there, but just never would follow, didn't go to church. I would listen to like a YouTube sermon here and there, just like I would find one and watch it and just kind of soak it up, but I never really strove for it. And then Jill came along, and she asked me if I'd go. I said, I'm a believer, but I'm not going back in there. I've been burnt, and I'm not going to get burnt again. And she just said, well, come with me if you want some Sunday, and I did. And we went to Westside. John Clark was there. This is 2009, and yeah, I went one Sunday and I have probably missed 12 Sundays since, if that, So, and then I'm back on my walk and on fire and been happy. Like I've learned a lot. I learned a lot at Westside, and then we kind of felt like we needed to move on, and that's how we found Sojourn. And now it's just an amazing fit for us. We love it there. 3 years now, but that's my kind of crib note walk.
Yeah, well, thanks. As we kind of think through the last year of your life or so, it's not an understatement to say that you've had a lot going on. And yeah, I don't know exactly how to get into it, but I think the one thing we wanted to make sure we created space in this this time for was to talk about sort of this new road that you've jumped on. And so I don't even want to steal the thunder. I'm just going to let you kind of maybe give a quick snapshot of what road you're walking right now. And then if there's other questions I want to ask related to that, just to fill it in, I can, but kind of give you the floor here.
Well, there's kind of 3 roads at once. So
Do you want to go first?
well, let's tackle the amputation first.
Okay.
So 6 months ago in 2 days, in 2 days will be 6 months since I was amputated.
That's crazy.
I know it seems like just a blip. And so last October, we left Sojourn to head to Texas. The family did. We were going to spend most of the winter, if not all of the winter, down in Texas working on a project that I've been working on for 2 years before that. And they needed some boots on the ground, and I was willing to go and get away from the Michigan winter. That just sounded great. And November 21st, I watching Monday Night Football. I cracked my ankle like you would your knuckles, just sitting on a chair. I thought I broke my ankle. I had got hit by a car when I was a kid, so I had some already trauma done to it. So I honestly thought that I like broke my ankle. So Jill had gotten woken up by me moaning and groaning at night, like in bed, like trying to get comfortable. And she woke up. She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I cracked my ankle. I think I might have broke it or hurt it." But so I iced it, took some Tylenol, tried to sleep, couldn't sleep. She got up at like 7 in the morning, and I'm like in tears and so much pain. We ended up going and finding out it wasn't broke. They couldn't find out what was wrong with it in Texas. We went to 4 different places. We got denied service. And they did MRIs, CAT scan. Like they did do an MRI. They did CAT scan because I had metal in my foot. They wouldn't get an image. So no one was figuring out what was going on. Not one time did they do blood work, which they would have probably got the answer there. But what was going on is I had osteomyelitis so bad in my foot that it had flared up that basically my foot was rotting from the inside out from an injury that I had 8 to 10 years ago that I had no idea about. And so we're down there, we're 14 days into it, and we're about 10 days into it before we trying to get me back home because we knew something major was going to have to happen with my leg, and we wanted to be at home near our support units. And just like, and our kids were down there with us. The whole family was there except for my oldest buddy. He was up here staying at our house. And so we ended up getting a Mercy flight, which is Wings of Mercy, one of the greatest organizations on the face of the planet. They saved my life, but it's a Christian organization that we will support until the end of my life. I just will always do that. But we found out about the organization. We sent in an application. I was a prime candidate, except the distance was an issue. So they had 2 pilots, I think, that could make the distance. One of them was able to do it in a good time frame. They came to pick me up. The plane broke down in Kansas or Missouri. And all halfway here, they had to then fly themselves back home on another plane, and that plane was stuck there. So at this point, I am at the most rock bottom that I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I wasn't questioning, you know, my walk with Christ, but I just wanted to know why. Like, why was this going on? And so fast forward, we're back in Traverse City, foot comes off, and now we're 6 months in. It took 2 weeks from the time I cracked my ankle to actually 17 days from the time I cracked my ankle to the time they took it off, because I had to go into the hospital. They had to make sure all the infection was away from the rest of my body and not going to kill me before they took the leg. And so they gave me an option to rebuild the foot or take it off. And at that point, I was ready for it to go anyway. And the doctor was like, "Are you sure? This is like, you have a chance to do it." And I just didn't, it wasn't a for sure, it was a maybe. And I was just ready to get it done. And then when they opened it up, they found out they wouldn't have been able to save the foot anyway.
Okay.
So I think that was God telling me it's time to take it off. Because if I would have went into surgery thinking it was going to be there and I woke up and it wasn't, I would have been really hard for me to take, I think. That was, but now it's 6 months and a couple days. I hike, I can run a little bit, like a little jog, up and down. Some days are better than others. But it's a new reality for us.
Yeah. What's been most surprising about this new reality for you?
Well, just, you don't realize like how much like your feet do for you. And just all the changes, like Jill's now taken on so much more because like I'm getting able to do more now, but very limited. My stamina's gone, but just being so early into it, it's hard to really say what the future is going to look like and my strength levels and my abilities. Like in 6 months, I'll be way better than I am now. So like things will change there, but just like at night, not having a leg on, now I'm a liability in our upstairs master bedroom. If we had a fire or an intruder or anything like that, now I'm a liability. Like my kids, like every single one of them at some point, I think, except for Ivy, has said something about they wish I didn't get my foot cut off. That is a little heartbreaking a little bit, but as they grow older, they'll never even probably remember me with 2 feet. The boys will maybe, but the girls won't.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing on that. And I've loved the transparency you've had on Facebook about your journey and the way you guys have invited folks into it, both the hard parts as well as the joyful parts.
Well, to me, it's important for people to see, like, I want to, like, the inspiration aspect. I want people, especially my kids, to see that no matter how hard it gets, you can overcome whatever it is. It may take you a while, but to say it's all glitz and glamour is a lie. I wouldn't want to do that. And so what I like to do is give a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, just so that, I don't give all the bad. I don't give all the good. I just give a little bit of each, just so, give a little aspect. I was planning on doing a 6-month review in a couple of days, just kind of get everybody up to speed of where I'm at and just kind of touch base with everyone. And because now that like the wheels are moving so much faster, the changes are so different that it's hard to really keep everybody abreast of what's going on. So I haven't been doing as many updates. Yeah, less progress.
Little busy, busy. Jill, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. We are really excited about this, and I'll just get right to the point. We are having a new daughter join our family in 3 weeks. She's due 3 weeks from today, and she will be joining our family through adoption, which is our first child that we will bring in that way. And adoption is something that's been on our hearts for a long time, and that we've really felt like Lord would call us to, but we didn't really have a timeline, or we had not pursued it to the point where we knew what that would look like. It just was something our hearts were open to. And then a really dear friend, a loved one of ours, is young and finds herself expecting a daughter at a time in her life where she feels that she will struggle to provide a stable home and provisions for her daughter. and she has asked if we would be willing to be her daughter's adoptive family. So this birth family and adoption family match is really, really special for us. All adoption is so special, so I don't mean to say that ours is extra
It's just
special,
for
but
us, it's a special.
but there's an aspect to this that is really, really close to our hearts. And so we will be bringing our baby home from the hospital when she arrives, and we will be in an open adoption with her mom, and are really, really looking forward to that. Yeah, we're just so excited.
That's great. And I know we've been able to talk a little bit about this before, but over the course of this journey so far for you, I would imagine, just based on the time of day, what hurdles or opportunities are in front of you, that there's probably just a slew of different emotions that you guys have experienced. And so I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that, of what kind of things have been stirred up in you as a family, as a couple, as individuals, through this.
So I'll go first here. When we were approached about this, I didn't even hesitate to say yes. It wasn't, we've talked about this before. We've talked about fostering, maybe even into adoption when the kids get a little older. We just weren't sure yet. Our whole relationship, we've talked about it. And I definitely didn't think it would be, hearing, it was about 3 months after the amputation that we found out that we were approached about it. And at that time, like, I didn't even hesitate to say yes. Crazy enough, like, my mind, obviously we're going through some major life changes in our own regard, and now to bring another child into our home, which we love our kids. We love the big family. We love kids, and we knew we wanted more. And this situation is just, it's just one that's so important for us, and also birth mom. And so that wasn't gonna be an issue for me. It will be kind of like the growing aspect will be, probably rough around the edges here or there, but we'll make it through it. Like, we don't need to change our lifestyle for having a baby. We've got 5 kids at home already. We're used to babies around. We love them. She'll always know us as her adoptive parents, and hopefully we'll have a great relationship with her biological mother, which is our intention and goal here. The kids are absolutely over the moon about having baby Isla come and see us. Isla will be her name. And we're so excited for Isla, and so are the kids. And there, obviously with anything, there's always going to be, the bumps and the ups and the downs. And this right now, everything, the trajectory's been up the whole time. Obviously with the COVID and the quarantine and the way the process has gone, we're not going through the process like other adoptive parents do, because like the home visits are difficult.
We
like
partly are.
we are, but it's not the same. Like the home visits are different. Like, we can't go to the office and but she comes to us. So we've done them. It's just in a different rhythm than maybe some others might have.
For me, it's really, Isla's mom and I are extremely close. So there's a lot of mixed emotions for me. Just, that joy of getting another daughter and bringing her into our family. And then also just that sadness of someone I love going through what she's going through. So really, really mixed emotions for me.
Yeah.
But really, really, really just feel like the Lord is just orchestrating this and just making a way that just is blowing my mind. I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone I really love is struggling, and so that's hard. But when it comes to Isla, it's just pure joy. So a lot of mixed emotions, but and I'm sure that will probably continue for me. But definitely some insecurities about learning something new and navigating something new. But also a lot of excitement and a lot of gratefulness that we have just an awesome support system. We have a lot of people in our lives who have walked this road, you being one of them. and to just, give us wise counsel and information, and just, help us to navigate the new parts. And so there's also just a lot of thankfulness for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of varying emotions, but we really feel just so certain. That's something I've been really thankful for, is I've just not even for one moment have I wondered if this was what we should do, what God wanted us to do. I mean, it's just been amazing. Just all of the things that make that just so clear. So that's really special.
We both
So-
know that it's going to be really hard for the birth mom. It's going to be really hard for Jill as well. The relationship is really, it's a really special relationship between the two of them. So that is one aspect that I really hope won't change. Hopefully this situation doesn't kind of affect that, love that they have, only because maybe Leah,
that closeness more, maybe.
yeah, maybe that they won't be able to lean on each other as much, because Biomom leans on Jill very often, and for a lot of motherly advice, I would say, very parental kind of overlook. And hopefully that's not lost, because of
praying
this.
for
We're
that.
really praying for that big time, because every adoption and every situation is different in every aspect. It's nearly impossible to kind of plan it out and be perfect. We know that and understand it. So we're just going to use every tool we have and every opportunity we have to make it as smooth and as good for these guys, and the whole process, the family, our family, their family, just to be, to work well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's so exciting. And I think initially we wanted you guys on here because we were trying to think of ways that we could invite the church family in, the Sojourn family into to the joy and the ups and downs, the overwhelming nature sometimes of this. And so I'm so excited for your family. If we're zooming out just a little bit, and I know you said there were 3 big roads you were on, and this is the second, and I'm guessing the third was job related.
Yeah.
So maybe if you can give like a quick summary, because maybe we need to start looking to the end of this.
I'm horrible at quick.
I know. Do your
Us Hoosiers, we're long-winded. What can I say?
seriously.
So
Midwestern ones.
the project I was on brought me back in January. As soon as I was able to work, I was working January 4th. I was right back to work for that project. And
part-time.
Full-time at first, and it went to part-time after the work was weaning off. And then my last bill day to them was February 14th, which is common in the work that I do. And I just go to the next project. However, though I can't travel to go get those projects or get to those props. So we're doing a career shift now, which was not really expected. It just kind of happened. And I had a couple irons in the fire, and the Lord, I've been praying really hard about it. And Monday I was praying really hard, like through the weekend. I had a pretty important Tuesday yesterday, and I was praying, and then I got a call Monday that kind of shut one door. That was, one that I had that was set and that was good. Well, I'm really glad he did that, because it gave me the opportunity to focus on one. So now I'm doing a career shift. I'm going to be local. I can, participate in my family life a lot easier without the travel involved. And I can be close to my prosthetist to help fix my leg when I need to, or adjustments, my doctor for any medications and things that sort of thing. So it's really, really a good kind of fit for us. It's a huge shift. It's a different field that I'm used to. I've been involved with it in a little bit in the past, but I'm going to be, it's not settled yet, but I've got 2 more hoops to jump through, and most people don't get to those 2 hoops usually if you're going to not get welcomed in. So I got to get licensed and then join Farm Bureau as an insurance agent for property casualty insurance, auto, life, some health. And they recruited me too, which was really ironic, because I never sought it out. I got the call from them our insurance agent actually talked to his manager. He really thought that I would be a good candidate. And so through this process, they've really come to enjoy me. I've enjoyed them, and they're very thorough about what they do. I've had to take personality tests, multiple interviews. So it's been really good. So that ball is rolling. We haven't started it yet, but this is not COVID, or the quarantine has not slowed it down at all, which has been great, because any other work that I've tried to find, I can't contact people, or they're not working, or so this has really opened up a door and an avenue to get our life into another direction. So we've got amputation, new baby, job change in the last 6 months.
That ain't no thing.
Model our house.
Yeah,
We
so-
want to add an addition to our house.
Yeah.
Put that in there so we keep
Yeah.
this
Well,
movie.
well, that's like moving is like one of the other top things that stress people out in our hard life things. And all of our bedrooms are on the second level. And being an amputee, stairs are really, I don't like stairs anymore. It wasn't that I was fond of them before, but now like I will avoid a place if I have to go up the stairs. It's just really uncomfortable, especially now. Like as I get stronger, it'll be easier. But we want to put a master bedroom downstairs in our home and change it up a bit. But we don't know what the future holds with that, because now with baby Isla coming, our nest, what savings we did have is going that direction. So we don't have a lot to expend to our house and do anything like that.
That's not an immediate.
So it's not an immediate plan at this time.
And push it to the side. Just
An
Yeah.
exciting idea
I
for
can-
the future.
I can deal with steps for baby Isla.
there you go.
I just won't be able to take her up or down the stairs.
Probably wise not to try.
And,
Hey, well, this has been good. Maybe just a final question on my side would be, as you kind of survey all the irons in the fire right now, all the things that are going on, what's one thing that God has been teaching you individually as a couple, whether it's about Him, whether it's about yourself, whether it's about what it means to follow Jesus, maybe just one thing that's been emerging as something that God has been doing in your life and teaching you.
You want that one?
Okay. The big recurring thing for me through maybe starting with the amputation and on through this, it's the same message basically of just God's power and the hope that He gives in hard times. And when you're stripped of all control that you wish you could have over a situation, it's just an opportunity to see how little control you actually do have, and to be maybe even grateful for that. Just that that we're just in such good hands, and God is so powerful, and He's so faithful, and there is so much hope for us through those extremely dark and challenging and discouraging days. That that He's still there, that hope for the morning kind of aspect. And there's a song, a John Redditt song, that I just love about God being our hope. And it just talks about how, the days are dark, but God is brighter. And the grave, He defeated the grave, just this wonderful hope. And that has been through the amputation, through just a hard winter of, we've been on our unemployed and difficulty getting out almost all winter. So what this quarantine is feeling like, this is, month 6 for us basically. So it's been a hard winter, and just the Lord's faithfulness has just been so awesome. And He really does just make every morning new. And that's been really, really special to me. And with Isla, it's the same message, just so much is out of my hands that I wish I could just put into place just the way I want it. And He's just doing it better than I ever could have imagined. So it's been pretty special.
I love that. Just a quick comment on that. I love that what I hear, you're not minimizing the hard stuff. You're actually calling it what it is.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, but there's something greater than that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Christian walk is all about, is being honest about the brokenness and the hardship. And then as you turn to Jesus, he looms larger, and we see him as worth more. And so I just see that on display in your guys' lives. Carrie, how about you?
Well, mine is God. Nothing is on our time. The piggybacks a little off of Jill, but I knew I knew I would have an issue with my foot. I never thought it would be this young. That timing was God's timing. I didn't think I would have a career shift. God's timing. We knew we would adopt a baby, not during all of this. Again, God's timing. He's just giving us these things, like he just wants us. Well, for me, I felt like when we were in Texas, I felt like I was in the darkest, lowest valley of my entire life, and that I had no idea how I was going to come out of that. God brought me out of it. With the job thing, I felt a little lost in what I was going to do, and I didn't want to travel. And then God brought me out of that. And then God then gave us this beautiful gift of Isla now that's going to come into our lives. And it just shows me that we're on God's time, and there's nothing I can do about it. Just ride the horse in the direction it is traveling.
That was succinct too. Way to go.
I tried.
And that's a good lesson for all of us in this season that we find ourselves in as well.
Yeah.
Well, this has been good. At least for me. That's all I can
Thank
say.
you.
For us.
Loved
It was
it.
good to talk to you. Miss you guys. We miss
Yeah.
our Sojourn family.
For sure. Can I pray for us?
Please.
Yeah, thank you.
Close off. Oh, I guess I should take my hat off too. All right. God, we praise you just for your gift of your presence, of your faithfulness, Lord, of your timing. And we thank you for the gift of community and the people that you've brought together in this little area of the world in Traverse City. And Lord, I thank you specifically for the Hanley family. God, it's so good to hear about how you are walking alongside of them, of how you're shepherding them through some pretty hard times, through some pretty overwhelming times, and yet how, God, they are able to see you and to have hope and to have confidence, God, that you are in control and that you are good and that you're powerful. So God, just continue, Father, to guide them. Lord, we pray for the delivery of little baby Isla and her birth mom, Lord, that even now you would just be so near to her. Lord, that you would be bringing her comfort and peace that only you can give. Lord, as there's just going to be just a lot of complex emotions through all of this for everyone, Lord. Lord, would they sense your nearness? And in this, God, I pray that their capacity, Lord, to love and to care for and to experience just the breadth of emotions that you've given us, Lord, would grow large. They'd have a greater capacity, Father, to enter in. So, Lord, we just lift up their family to you. We lift up this new potential new job to you. We lift up the continuing rehabilitation for Carrie and just adjusting as a family. Lord, thank you for your son, Jesus, Lord, the one that has brought us to you, the one who's made promises to us and is just faithful to his promises. Lord, we trust in you and we look to you. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Hat back on. Don't know how to close these things off, but I think we'll just say bye.
Bye. It was good to see you, Ben.
Yeah. We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, tell your family we said
love you,
hello.
Sojourn.
Love you guys. Thanks for being with us.
Okay. Click and end.
Bye.